At family barbecue, my brother clinked his glass and said, "To the one who always shows up late, borrowing money, and still trying to look important." My parents laughed. I lifted my drink and said, "To the late one who just canceled the transfer covering your mortgage." The silence after that toast was beautiful. And then, my name's Carter. I'm 31, a relief pitcher who spent most of his adult life waiting for a phone call and living out of a duffel bag. I'm the middle child, the one who learned to carry ice packs and family secrets. If you've ever slept on a bus with your elbow in a glove and your heart in your throat, you know my life. I'm the guy who shows up early. Bullpen gates open? I'm there. Need a spot start? I'll throw till my shoulder sings. My brother, Mason, says my job is catching lucky breaks. He says it like I ordered them off a menu. My parents don't get baseball as a career. They get it as a hobby I monetized by accident. I'm the quiet one who pays the tab. The day it cracked started simple. A backyard barbecue at my parents' place. Plastic tables, paper plates, my dad's old radio hissing through classic rock. My mom set out bowls like trophies, potato salad, coleslaw. The casserole, she says, is foolproof, even though it always breaks into two textures. Cousins everywhere. Kids chalking the driveway. A wiffle ball rolling under the hydrangeas. I told myself it was just an afternoon. I'd eat a burger, sign a few caps for neighbor kids, nod at a story about someone's boat. Smile. Leave. Mason clinked his beer bottle with a fork. "Attention," he said, voice bright, eyes on me. A toast. To the one who always shows up late, borrowing money, and still trying to look important. Laughter. Not loud. Worse. That soft, easy laugh people use when the line has been rehearsed. My mom covered her mouth like she'd been surprised by a sneeze. My dad looked down as if reading the grill. My sister Tara studied a chip like it held answers. I felt the heat from the grill and the heat in my neck and told myself to breathe. That's the trick they teach you in relief pitching. Small breath in, longer breath out. Slow your heartbeat down, or it'll run you. I raised my plastic cup and tapped it with my finger. My voice, when it came, sounded like I'd peeled it off ice. "To the late one," I said, "who just changed his mind about covering anyone's mortgage this month." Silence. Not dramatic, not TV ready. Just real. The kind that takes the air out of a yard. A kid near the swing set stopped mid-arc and let the chain creak. Somewhere a dog shook its collar. Then my mom's smile fell off her face like it remembered gravity. My dad turned a burger that didn't need turning. Mason cocked his head, smug sliding into something tighter. I didn't say more. I just let the quiet happen, felt it press against my chest, then pass through me like wind through a dugout tunnel. And then, baseball looks glamorous from the seats. It isn't. It's buses at 2 a.m. to towns where the stadium lights hum like insects. It's bullpen benches that smell like wet leather and sunflower shells. It's waiting for your name on a lineup card and pretending your value isn't a number on a spreadsheet. I got drafted out of junior college. Late, nothing flashy. I wasn't the kid with a billboard arm. I was the kid who could throw strikes when the infield needed a bailout. I climbed slow. Winter ball in Mexico. Independent league summers. A broken finger. A miracle phone call. A cup of coffee in the bigs. Back down. Up again. That carousel. Through all of it, I sent money home. Not every month. Not at first. Just when it mattered. It always mattered. Tara, younger, going to nursing school. Mom crying into a dish towel because tuition deadlines don't care if your car sounds like a blender. Dad's knee. Surgery he delayed too long because time is money, which, in our house, meant delay till someone else can't stand it. Mason? He was the oldest, the charmer, the deal maker who pitched ideas and never stayed for the cleanup. He started a landscaping business that became a food truck that became consulting. The invoices were gorgeous. The bank balance wasn't. They told me I was the only one who could help right now. Right now stretched into seasons. We made a family habit out of my direct deposits. "Baby, nobody else has your opportunities," Mom would say, voice honeyed like she was offering a cookie. "God blessed you with talent." He did not bless our mortgage company with patience. Dad would do the quiet thing. A sign near the window. An envelope will pay back. A speech about "we raised you." It's a circle. Deals with Mason were the worst. He'd send a text. "Short-term float for payroll. Bro, investors are in next week." Or, "Missed the deadline, but I'll roll you in on the upside." I'd wire it and tell myself I was investing in family. I kept a notes app with promised payback dates that read like a schedule of imaginary holidays. When I finally saw my first real major league check, I cried in the parking lot under a yellow light that made everything look bruised. I could breathe. I could buy a couch without counting the springs in my head. 2 months later, I was buying Tara's books, patching Dad's deductible, and loaning Mason a chunk he called bridge money. I kept saying yes because that's what I knew. Baseball is a job where you keep moving because if you stop, the doubt catches up. Family felt like that too. Say yes before the guilt catches you. I learned to compartmentalize. On the mound, tunnel vision, one pitch. Off it, Zelle, Venmo, bank transfer. Then, between seasons, I rented a one-bedroom near the training complex and bought a cheap kettle I pretended was my thing. I'd stand there steaming oatmeal while my phone lit up. Hey, Carter, quick question. Can you? Carter, we're. Carter, only for a week. I told myself it was temporary. When Mason's business hit, I'd be paid back. When Dad's physical therapy was done, it would ease. When Mom picked up more hours at the school cafeteria, the tide would turn. When Tara graduated, she'd stand on her own. The tide turned, but not the direction I expected. Tara passed her boards. My parents bragged about our nurse. The family group chat lit up with pictures of a stethoscope and cake. I dropped a heart emoji and felt happiness I hadn't felt in years. She sent me a private text. I'll pay you back. Not all at once, but I will. I believed her because she meant it. Then Mason announced an engagement party with centerpieces that looked like they came with their own zip codes. He made a speech about next chapters and a new family brand. When the check came, he patted his pockets like a bit. Forgot my wallet, he whispered, eyes on me. I paid it. Again. After that, the asks changed shape. Not just emergencies. Expectations. Carter, you'll cover the deposit and we'll handle the rest. Carter, could you co-sign? It's just a formality. Carter, the truck's under your credit for now. Just till. I started tracking every dollar. Not to make them feel bad. To keep myself honest. A pitcher's brain likes numbers. Counts. Velocity. Spin rate. I built a spreadsheet and filled it like a scorebook. It read like a story I didn't want to know the ending of. Then came the day I checked one of the accounts and saw a withdrawal I didn't make. A joint emergency fund, opened with Dad for house repairs. Never used, suddenly blinking minus signs. I stared at the line item until my eyes watered. The memo field said, Mortgage, Mason. The signature trail? My father's. The cosigner box? Forged mine. I wanted to call a cop and a therapist and my 8-year-old self all at once. Instead, I called my bank. I froze the account. I requested copies. And I waited. I told no one. Not yet. I went to the gym and threw into a net until my shoulder buzzed. I reminded myself of breath control. In, out, long exhale. Then the barbecue invite hit the family chat like a slow pitch. Sunday. Come eat and celebrate us being all together for once. There were grill emojis and fireworks like our group text was a parade. I almost said no. Then I thought about a stack of papers on my desk with my name bent into a shape I didn't recognize. I showed up, and Mason clinked his glass. And I heard myself say, the late one who just canceled the transfer covering your mortgage. And the silence did what silence does. It told me the truth. My mom broke first. Carter, she said, smile too tight. Don't make family business into yard talk. Family business? I asked. You mean the account I opened with Dad for emergencies? The one that paid Mason's mortgage 3 months in a row without my consent. My dad turned off the grill. Not the gas, the whole thing. Like he could power down the conversation. Son, he said, that word they say for when they want your obedience. Timing. It is about timing, I said. Like how the payment goes out on the 15th at 9:01 a.m., which is exactly when the adjustable rate spikes. Like how the signature on the authorization looks a lot like my name written by someone's left hand. Whose hand was it? Nobody moved. Even the flies went quiet. Mason laughed, the fake friendly one. Wow, this is dramatic. We're talking about a couple of months. I was waiting on a client. You forged my name, I said, out loud, because hearing it in air gives it weight. You used my credit to hold up your house, and you told yourself it was fine because you figured I'd say yes if you asked. You skipped the asking. It's still family, my mom said, voice soft but sharp. If one person has, we all have. I looked at her. I've had for a long time. You've all had me. My dad set the spatula down like it was heavy. We would have paid you back. When? I asked. Pick a date. Any date. He didn't. Tara stood then. She's 5'4" and stronger than most men I've played alongside. She put a hand on my arm. Carter, she whispered. Sit down. They're not going to hear you today. No, I said, and my voice surprised me because it wasn't a shout. It was steady. They're going to hear me today. I took out my phone and opened the Notes app. I read, not because I needed the numbers, but because my nerves needed an anchor. Since year one, I said, I've sent home $142,300. A cousin dropped a fork. I covered Tara's tuition because I love her, and she's paid me back $500 a month, every month, since she started working. Tara's eyes were wet. I paid Dad's surgery deductible in full. I bought tires. I paid 2 surprise tax bills. I cleared 3 of Mason's short-term loans that somehow stretched into seasons. And as of last week, I discovered $6,750 taken from a joint account by a signature that was not mine. Okay, Mason said, hands up. We get it. You're the hero. You want applause. No, I said. I want boundaries. My mom scoffed. Don't use therapy words to punish your family. I put my cup down so my hand would stop shaking. I'm not your bank anymore. I'm not your guarantor, your safety net, or your default payment method. The transfers are done. The cosigns? Gone. The account. I looked at my father. Closed. Carter, Dad said, voice low, a warning. You don't talk to me like that in my house. I'm talking to you like a man in any house, I said. Stop touching my name. For a second, I thought Mason would take a swing. He didn't. He did worse. He smirked at everyone else, like he wanted them on his team. Look at this, he said loudly. Big league guy thinks his little stats make him better than us. Who got you started, man? Who took you to your first tryout? Who paid for lessons when you were 10? Our parents did. You owe. That word, oh, rolled around the yard like a bad pitch. I owe respect, I said. I owe visits when I can and calls when I can't and love even when I'm tired. I don't owe fraud. He flinched at the word. Good. I let it hang. Apologize, my mom said. To your brother. For humiliating him. I looked at Mason. I'll apologize when you walk up to me with a repayment plan and not a new idea. His jaw clicked. My favorite sound of the day after the silence. Fine, he said. Cut us off. See how that feels when you need something. I nodded. I already tested it, I said. Feels like breathing. Then I took my keys out of my pocket and felt the metal bite my palm. I turned, walked past the kids, past the chalk that said home, with an arrow toward the door, and left the yard to the smell of a grill going cold. I expected fallout. I didn't expect the speed. By the time I hit the highway, my phone was a storm. Group chat, wow. Overreaction. Embarrassed us on purpose? We gave you everything. Private. Dad, 2 calls, no voicemail. Mom, 8 texts, all with a different tone, like she was flipping radio stations. Guilty, angry, pleading, practical. Mason, memes, then threats dressed as jokes, then a screenshot of a Zillow listing with "will be on the street," hero. I turned off notifications and drove to the bullpen field. Not my team's. The public one behind a high school where nobody recognizes a pro unless you tell them. I threw until each breath came clean, until the sound of ball on mitt replaced the afternoon. That night, I wrote 3 emails. One to my bank's fraud department, attaching the documents they'd asked for and the statement freezing access. One to my father with the subject line, account closed. Do not attempt access. It was polite and final and had the word attorney in it, which isn't a magic spell but made my hand stop shaking. And one to Mason with a simple line. Do not use my name. Do not ask for money. Do not contact me about money. I included a screenshot of a calendar with a phone meeting I'd booked with a lawyer. Then I slept. Badly. But I slept without the weight of tomorrow's transfer in my chest. The morning brought the second wave. My mother showed up at my apartment unannounced like the old days when she'd pop by with casserole and run commentary on my laundry. Carter, she said through the chain. Open the door. This is ridiculous. It's not a good time, I said. This is your family, she said. We don't do ultimatums. We do when you force my hand, I said. Mom, I love you. Sit on the bench by the elevator. I'll talk. I'm not letting you in. Her face did a new thing then. Not anger. Evaluation. The way she looks at cantaloupes at the store. She sat. We talked. For once, I didn't smooth it over. I know I raised a good heart, she said. Don't let pride ruin that. Pride didn't sign my name, I said. You did, or Dad did, or Mason did. Pride is me pretending that's okay because I hate conflict. I'm done pretending. She tried tears. She tried silence. She tried switching to logistics. We'll refinance. We'll sell something. We'll make a plan. I told her to make a plan with the people who created the problem. I told her I'd help with information, not money. I gave her a list. County assistance forms, mortgage forbearance options, the number for a credit counselor. She stared like I'd handed her instructions in a language she refused to learn. I am not beneath asking for help, I said. I'm just done asking me. She left without hugging me. That hurt more than the barbecue. Tara called that night. She didn't clear her throat or soften her voice like she usually does when she's talking to our mother through me. She just said, I know you're right. I'm behind on repayment to you because I took on overtime and the schedule got weird. I'll catch up this month. You don't owe me like that, I said. I do, she said. Not because you demand it. Because I respect it. Then she told me something I hadn't planned for. I'm moving out of mom and dad's. I found a place closer to the hospital. They'll make it a whole thing. I need you to be my emergency contact, not my landlord. I said yes so fast it made both of us laugh. The family chat went quiet the next day, which sounds like a blessing but felt like a storm you can't see. I went to the stadium. I did my lifting. I threw a bullpen session that clicked, the way a pitch sometimes clicks after months of nudges. On the drive home, Mason called. I answered because sometimes you have to stare at the thing that scares you. What do you want? I asked. You ruined me, he said. Happy. I didn't make you copy my name, I said. I didn't make you lean on me like a habit. I'm offering you rehab. Rehab looks like you calling the bank yourself. It looks like you selling the truck you love more than your budget. It looks like a job with a schedule and health insurance. You're hilarious, he said. You think you're better because you throw a ball. I think I'm better than what I was, I said. That's enough. He hung up. A week later, Dad texted me 2 words I did not expect. I'm sorry. There was a picture attached. A scanned letter from the bank acknowledging the fraud claim and the closure of the joint account. His signature sat next to a box that said, I acknowledge misuse. Under it, mine, printed correctly, no curves faked. I didn't reply for an hour because I didn't trust my impulse, which was to drive over and hug him and forget he'd been part of all this. I waited until the hour felt like an adult decision. Then I wrote, thank you. It matters. I added a line. Next time, talk to me. He didn't respond. Later, Tara told me he'd gone quiet in the house. Quiet can be a weapon. It can also be a step. My mother kept calling. Then she switched to letters, which felt cinematic until you read them and realize a letter can carry the same manipulations as a text, just in cursive. One said, family is not transactional. Another said, you'll feel guilty when we're gone. Another had a recipe card for the casserole with a note. You'll miss this one day. I kept them all. I didn't respond. 2 weeks later, our team went on a road trip. Planes, hotel ice bucket, the usual. In a city where the stadium sits in a skyline like a jawline, my manager came and sat next to me in the bullpen. Heard you're dealing with some family stuff, he said. He's not a prying guy. He's the human version of a ground ball. Calm, doable, gets you out of the inning. I am, I said. Not my business, he said. But the next call I make isn't about your arm. It's about your head. You available? I laughed. I'm learning. He nodded like that was the answer he'd hoped for. Good, he said. Because you're on in the 8th. I warmed up. The gate opened. The mound felt like a place I earned. The catcher called for a slider. I threw it like it could cut through anything. It did. After the game, I checked my phone. A text from Tara. A picture of a key on her palm. Captioned, my place. A text from Mom. A picture of the empty casserole dish with finally made it right written in a loop. No apology. Just a loop. I put my phone down and stared at the hotel ceiling. I felt something I hadn't felt since I was 19 throwing in a summer league with nothing to lose. I felt like my life was mine. There's a little coffee shop near the stadium that smells like toasted almonds and fresh tape. The morning after a homestand, I sit by the window with ice on my shoulder and a notebook that has seen too many stadium tunnels. I don't write poetry. I write numbers and sentences that keep me honest. Today I write, boundaries are boring until they save your life. I used to think love equals yes. Yes to emergencies. Yes to poor planning. Yes to the guilt that comes when you try to say no and your mother's voice turns your stomach into a knot. I don't believe that anymore. Love can be a no that keeps you honest. Here's what changed and what didn't. I still send Tara money sometimes, but it's a gift she doesn't expect. She pays me back more often than I accept it. We text about night shifts and bad coffee and the good kind of tired. When she calls me from a supply closet to say, I told Mom I'm not her go-between anymore, I feel taller. My dad shows up to day games and sits high where the sun hits the last row. He doesn't text me about money. He texts me about pitch selection. That 0-2 fastball up? Nice. He says more with those 4 words than he did in a decade of size. I take it. My mother calls less. When she does, it's awkward, like 2 people trying to move a couch through a narrow door. We bump. We also adjust angles. She brings up holidays. I tell her my schedule. She asks if I'm eating enough. I tell her the truth. She hasn't said the words I'm sorry. I stopped waiting for them. Sometimes you accept the smaller truth. She changed her actions. She signed nothing with my name. That is its own sentence. And Mason? He found a job. Not a brand. Not a launch. An actual job where he clocks in and someone else signs his check. He hates it. He also texts me proof of his 2-month streak of on-time mortgage payments like a kid bringing home a sticker chart. He hasn't paid me back everything. He probably won't. I accepted that debt was the cost of my learning curve. What I demanded, and got, is the interest called respect. The family group chat still exists. It talks about the weather and my aunt's knee and Tara's new scrubs and an old cousin's baby. When someone makes a joke about my big league money, I type, boundaries still in place, and add a smiley face. The chat moves on. Finally, I stopped apologizing for my schedule, for my success, for my no. I'm done explaining why a man with a job is allowed to keep what he earns. I chill my arm. I call my sister. I send my mother a picture of the casserole I learned to make and a caption. It finally didn't split. She sends back a heart. Progress, not perfection. When I think about that barbecue, about the clink of a bottle and the soft laugh that filled the yard, I don't feel rage anymore. I feel clarity. I was a relief pitcher in a family that wanted an ATM. I became a man who knows he's allowed to close the gate. So if you want the play-by-play, here it is. My brother clinked a glass to humiliate me. My parents laughed. I lifted my drink and chose myself. I canceled the draft on my dignity. The silence after that toast wasn't just beautiful. It was honest. It was the first inning of a new game where the person on the mound is me, throwing what I mean, not what keeps the peace. And the moral? It's simple. I don't let anyone sign my name but me. I don't run on guilt. I run on breath. In, out, long exhale. Then I go throw something with bite and walk off the field knowing I didn't give away the only thing that ever made me valuable, my say. I thought love was covering everyone's bills. I know now love is covering your own and letting grown adults learn how to stand. I'm Carter. I pitch. I show up. I say no. And finally, I live for more than the next transfer.